Guys, we're going to put one of these V-Force reed kits in. You do not want any air leaks, guys. No air leaks. What so stinking ever. So I'm going to seal each gasket in and out of both sides. Cannot have an air leak, guys. It will blow you up. Now, the way these kits are made, the way these motor stationary kits are made, you got to modify the stock boot. I did get a brand new boot. I was able to source one from another dealer, which is great because my old one was all ratted up and dried up. So I got a nice fresh boot. But as you can see, it doesn't fit inside of there. So this whole surface needs to get cut off and rounded out to fit that. So, well, basically you can't round it out because this hole's already bigger. This hole's already bigger than that. So I'm just simply going to cut the ears off and put it on. Okay, now these went off pretty flat, pretty good. But when I got into here, it was a problem because of the way the blade was flexing. See that, guys? Gotta make sure they're flat. Okay, see that, guys? That nice and flat. You don't want any air leaks around that surface. I got a friend down at another dealer. He's always on my butt. He's always teasing me. Oh, you Yama bond everything. Everything's such a mess. You're so sloppy. Well, look at that, guys, right there. Yeah. Can't have any leaks there. It's not a joke. Leaks blow up. It's a two-stroke. So I'm going to find that other gasket, the second one that I had out. I don't know where I set it. And once I find that, I'm going to goop it up and get it in place. Okay, guys, I didn't have another one of these spidgets in this side of the carburetor. I got this carburetor used with the bike. And this spidget was pulled out when whoever pulled the old hose out or whatever. It was missing. So I tapped that hole. I tapped it with a tap to thread it. And I'm going to make a spidget for it. I'm going to take this and then worth it in with some worth glue and epoxy that there so it can't ever come out again. And then I'll take this and machine all that smooth to be the exact same diameter as that. I'll just machine it in the lathe, and then, you know, instead of having a press in brass fitting, we'll have a screw in steel one. But I'll just machine these threads off and make it smooth, and then I'll drill a hole, a real small hole right down the center of that to give it a vent. Just like that, see? So we're going to take this bolt and make it like that brass fitting. So it'll thread into about there. I'll cut the head off, smooth this out, and then drill a small hole right down the center of it to give it ventilation. And then we'll have a proper vent that looks stock. Okay? I'm gonna start cutting the head off and get this hole drilled. we got a barb with a hole drilled through it, and it's about the right length, and it's about the right diameter, and it threads in over here. Threads in. So what we'll do is we'll get that thread started. We'll put some epoxy all around that, and then we'll screw it in the rest of the way so it's airtight. Doesn't need to be 100% airtight because it's a vent anyway, but you just don't want dirt getting down in there. So yeah, it does need to be airtight. You don't want dirt. All right. So we'll get that screwed down in there and glued up. Wow. Stuff dries too quick. Okay, carburetor talk time, guys. You remember that fitting, that brass nipple that pulled out of the tapered Titan fit press fit there? I went ahead and showed you some footage on the lathe of cutting another nipple and threading it. The bottom section of that is, this is a bolt, is what that is. It's just a bolt. And the bottom section's threaded, and I tapped the carburetor and screwed it in, and the top section I cut and rounded off and barbed it just so that I can put a vent tube on. So all I did was recreate the brass part by threading it in. Of course, that's a nice neat little hole drilled all the way down through the center. How do you drill a hole down through the center of a bolt and keep it straight and perfect? Well, you use a lathe. Okay, so that is ready for the vent system. Okay, ready to rock. Oh, as far as the barrel adjuster nut on the top, this was missing a barrel adjuster nut. It was missing. So I took another bolt. I don't know if you can see in the camera angle. And I took a drill bit and drilled down into the top of the bolt to give the cable end somewhere to live. And then I tapped the cap to the same thread as the bolt. And there's my lock nut. The stock parts were much smaller and lighter, and they were, you know, made to be purpose-built barrel nuts, but they were missing. Whoever had the bike before just jammed the cable down into the top threaded portion of this and didn't have the barrel adjuster. So I made another barrel adjuster on the lathe. So I know you guys don't have a lathe at the house, most of you, so that's the kind of stuff you're not going to be able to do at home. But, you know, here at the shop I have it, and there you go. So we got a homemade barrel adjuster nut, homemade carburetor tube fitting. Always make sure that your slides retract all the way. They go all the way down. So, yep, we got a good working throttle. Carb's all cleaned up. Spotless, guys. I soaked it, went through all the jets, sprayed carb cleaner through all the orifices. Carburetor is spotless. Ready to go. So this was the inside of the airbox lip. This is what I was going to rely on to seal dirt out of the intake. So yeah, good luck with that, right? That's going to have to be totally cleaned and resealed. I bead blasted this plastic part and then washed it real good. I think it's going to come out looking nice once we get some Honda polish or some kind of, you know, some kind of oily spray on it when we clean it, WD-40. All this is turning out to be okay, but yeah, this is what those parts started out looking like. So you got to get all this cleaned up, and we'll put some goo and seal it. And get all that sealed up so that regardless of what the box is doing, no air can get between there and the filter. So you don't have any dirty, unfiltered air getting in your engine. Critical for a two-stroke. Critical for any engine, but exceptionally critical for a two-stroke where the reed intake is blasting right on the lower rod end bearing. You get any dirt in that lower rod end bearing coming in that intake through those reeds, it just eats those cranks up. So with a 4-stroke, it tumbles around on top of the piston, goes out the valves, and eats your valve seats up. So gotta have clean engines, guys. Okay guys, there it is. Rubber's all sealed up to the air filter base ring on the inside of the box, and then the box is squeezed up with the metal ring on the outside. So to keep those screws from coming loose, oh, and I put some Yamaha Bond 5 drying like in there. You could use 4. 4 would be fine, but I use 5 honestly just because it's black. I didn't want gray spooge squeaking out everywhere. But watch this. Make sure you put a dab of Loctite on those threads and let it work its way down in, and lean it up somewhere like that so it can gravity down. You don't want those screws coming off. They come off while you're riding, you'll start sucking dirt. Okay, it's lunchtime. I'm gonna go get a salad. Nice and oily backside of the filter, guys. Nice and oily. Make sure you do everything you can to keep that dirt out. Thanks for coming to this Cycle for Life video, guys. We greatly do appreciate it. We're not doing this to make money. This isn't a financial thing. I've got day work, full-time job. But please do like, share, and subscribe, and click the notification button, because it helps us get this information in front of other people. And you never know, maybe a motorcycle will save their life too. So wear your helmets, and no matter how fast you choose to ride, please ride safe. God bless.